I think everyone in this space, you have certain things that you really want to cover, certain things you get worked up about. Sometimes they're obvious, sometimes they're not. Ever since Boeing, and I'm not going to use this term lightly, murdered hundreds of people by putting planes in the air that they knew were dangerous, as I will discuss, I've really wanted to get into this. I have a long-awaited video essay, People Who Should Be in Prison. And Dennis Muhlenberg, who was the CEO of Boeing at that time, is definitely somebody who should die in prison, in my humble opinion. So, more problems with Boeing this week. So, Boeing again under scrutiny after latest 737 MAX problem. A sudden hole appearing in the side of an Alaska Airlines plane mid-flight follows years of problems with the manufacturer's aircraft. So this is from the New York Times. And just a funny aside, I had the wisdom last night to start telling Jimmy my opinions of Boeing right before he got on a flight to go on vacation.
I was just thinking that. Didn't he just get on a plane? And I got to do a flight later this week.
So he's like, God damn it, is it a Boeing? And he looked it up. It was an Airbus. Thank God it was an Airbus. All right, so... Sorry about that, Jimmy. A harrowing flight over the weekend is again forcing Boeing to confront concerns over its planes, particularly the 737 MAX, already one of the most scrutinized jets in history. No one was seriously injured in the episode on an Alaska Airlines flight Friday night, in which a portion of a 737 MAX 9 fuselage blew out in midair, exposing passengers to howling wind. Wow, man. Can you imagine? Jesus. The plane landed safely, but the event on a flight from Portland, Oregon to Ontario, California has spooked travelers, oh, you think? And prompted immediate safety inspections on similar planes. Yeah, that'll spook you, all right. Okay, so this is what happened, folks. So you see the red square there? All right, so that is when there's no when there's not so much seating that you would have the seat at the emergency exit there. They put in a metal panel. Basically, they have a gap.
Okay.
And so the question is this whole part defective on every plane that it's installed on and prone to just blow out the side of the plane mid-flight? So these have been grounded, causing, as you can imagine, a lot of chaos. Hundreds of flights have been canceled as a result. Quote, "The issue is what's going on at Boeing," said John Goglia, a longtime aviation safety consultant and a retired member of the National Transportation Safety Board, which investigates airplane crashes. Last month, the company urged airlines to inspect the more than 1,300 delivered MAX planes for a possible loose bolt in the rudder control system. Over the summer, Boeing said a key supplier had improperly drilled holes in a component that helps to maintain cabin pressure. Deliveries of another Boeing plane, the twin-aisle 787 Dreamliner, were virtually stalled for more than a year until the summer of 2022, while the aircraft maker worked with the FAA to address various quality concerns, including paper-thin gaps in the plane's body.
What is this, the Titanic submarine?
This is, what was the submarine company?
Oh, it's a Titan.
Ocean Gate or something?
Ocean Gate. Ocean Gate, right?
That's
yeah,
right.
There's like the Ocean Gate of plane manufacturers. Another flaw discovered last summer slowed deliveries of the plane again. And production of both the 737 and 787 has been slow to speed up amid those and other problems with quality and the supply chain. The MAX was grounded in early 2019 after two crashes killed a total of 346 people in Indonesia and Ethiopia. Over 20 months, Boeing worked with regulators around the world to fix problems with the plane's flight control software and other components. By the time passenger flights aboard the MAX resumed in late 2020, the crisis had cost the company about $20 billion. The two mid-size variants of the plane, the MAX 8 and MAX 9, have been flying since then. but the smallest, the MAX 7, and the largest, the MAX 10, have yet to be approved by regulators. Okay, so this is what makes this story bigger than Boeing. This story, if you want to talk about late-stage capitalism, if you want to talk about the dangers of having capital eat the institutions of the state, you can't find a better example than Boeing, because Boeing at one time was a company that really prioritized quality engineering and safety and was willing to throw whatever money they needed to throw into their designs to have the best plane, believing build it and they will come, right? Just build the best
My grandfather
plane out
did
there.
that. He was an engineer for Boeing.
He was an engineer for Boeing?
Yeah.
Wow. Back in those days, they had a very different business philosophy.
They used to make money, by the way.
They made
They
of
also
course,
all
it's
used
Boeing.
to make a profit.
It's Boeing.
Like,
It's not like they didn't make money, but all of these companies in late stage capitalism, as they will, turn towards chasing the stock price, turn towards juicing the stock price. So what does that mean? Cutting corners, cutting back on quality, which when you're talking about fucking airplanes is very, very dangerous. You're not talking about cutting back on quality on a microwave.
Yeah,
you're
you
talking
don't
about,
see vaccines cutting back on quality just to get a
you
product
don't
out
say
there.
they're all safe and effective.
Yeah,
but,
why don't you follow their example?
but this, you cannot play with airplanes like this. So this is what happened. Airbus, their main competitor, a European company, they developed a bigger plane. So Boeing, to compete with them, had to develop a bigger plane. But if you do a complete plane redesign, the FAA is going to require you to retrain all the pilots, and that's very expensive.
Oh, man.
You got to ground these planes. It's thousands of hours of training. You have to resubmit the whole design for approval. So what they decided to do was make a plane that can't fly without computer assistance. What they did was, instead of to completely redesign the body of the plane they already had, they moved the engines so that they could get more space for passengers. This made the plane not quite airworthy. So they put in a software system that would adjust the nose of the plane if it felt the pitch starting to move. What they did not do was train the pilots on that system. They claimed that it was a minor thing. It didn't really matter. The first crew to crash, being a foreign crew, they blamed them in very racist ways for not being able to fly the plane. So here's what I say. Dennis Muhlenberg, who was the CEO at that time, belongs in prison. He is the mayor in Jaws. He knew that it was not safe to go in the water, and he sent people in there with the shark. He knew that these planes were not safe, sent them up in the air, and even after hundreds of people died the first time, kept these planes in the air until finally hundreds more died, and then the FAA grounded them.
2 foreign countries or 1 America. That's the rule for doing something after a crash.
Well, that's like Israelis with hostages, right?
Yeah.
So, Keaton, you have anything to add there?
Nope. Good. Put it in a pipe and smoke it.
That is my rant about Boeing. I hope that juiced everybody for my eventual video essay on this subject.
Come see us do a live stand-up show. We'll be in Venice, California, Palmdale, California, Omaha, Des Moines, Milwaukee, Lansing, Bend, Oregon, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, Boston, Massachusetts, and we're going to Europe. Do you live in Europe? We're going to be there. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets.